Hi guys, it's Mary here and welcome back to my channel where I post videos from my all-time favorite game, The Sims 2. And today we are actually building a community lot for my Build a City Challenge neighborhood. It is a dance studio, as you might have guessed from the title already, which is going to be owned by one of my playable Sims. And it's a bit different from my normal community lots because the sim that's going to own this lot is in fact a vampire. So she will only be able to run it between 7 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock in the morning because she can't be out in the daylight. So yeah, I tried to make the building look a little bit like kind of like a nightclub, because I wanted it to fit into that, late night aesthetic. I also kind of thought about making the building look a bit older, a bit more rugged, but that doesn't really fit with the rest of the buildings in this neighborhood, seeing as they are all a bit more on the modern and bright and colorful side. So it was going to stand out in a way that I wasn't really comfortable with. So I went with this route instead, and I think it turned out okay. Of course, the problem with me having a lot of colorful buildings and that being the way that I kind of like to play my game, with having everything being bright and colorful, that is not, I think, very vampire-esque, or at least not in the way that I see vampires. I think of them as being these kind of like dark and gloomy creatures, but I don't really have that kind of CC or like items in my game where I can make that kind of sims or lots. So even for a vampire, the sim is kind of cheerful, and yeah, that made the lot turn out that way as well. So maybe not what you would think of when you hear the word vampire, but it was the best I could do for the sim that I had in mind. So as usual, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the sim that is going to run this community lot as a business or as a dance studio. And her name is Alyssa, and like I said, she is a vampire. She was actually one of the first townies that I created for this neighborhood, because when I create townies, I also roll for their supernatural traits, or if they are going to have any supernatural traits. So in The Sims 2, that could be them being a vampire, being an alien, being a plant sim, because otherwise it would be very hard to come by those life states in a Build a City challenge, because you're not, at least per my rules, allowed to connect a downtown, for example, which would in a normal game be the only way that you could meet vampires and then turn into one. So when I created Alyssa as a townie, she rolled to be a vampire, and then nothing much really happened with her for like the first couple of rotations. Since vampires only come out at night and my sims don't often visit community lots at night, I didn't really see much of her. It wasn't until one of my sims that moved into the nursing home rolled the want to get married all of a sudden that I had to look for sims that he could possibly marry. And at that time, a lot of the sims that were playable were already married, or I had planned to marry them off to someone else. So I looked at the townies that I had in my game, and it turned out that he had chemistry with Alyssa, and they also knew each other a little bit as well. So I had them move in together and get married, and they had 2 daughters together. But as the sim in question was already an elder, he passed away, and Alyssa, being a vampire, is of course immortal, so she had to raise her 2 daughters on her own. And for a long time it was only the 3 of them, and they kind of lived off the money that Alyssa's late husband left her, so she didn't have to get a job. But then as her daughters grew older, they had to move into a bigger house, and that made them of course lose a lot of their money, so she had to start looking for a job. And it's kind of tough being a vampire, because a lot of the jobs that are available, the sims have to work during the daytime, and that really tanks their needs if they're a vampire, being out in the sunlight. And I didn't want her to risk her dying from her needs being too low. So at first I just had her do the interaction on the computer where you can give financial advice, because she is a secondary fortune sim and a primary family sim aspiration. But she unlocked the action to give financial advice on the computer, so that's what I had her do for a while, but that didn't really bring in enough money. So then I started to try to figure out what her one true hobby was, to see if there were any new careers that she could unlock for the neighborhood, and it turned out to be music and dance. So I had her work her way up to level 3 in the dance career, because by my rules that is when you unlock the dance studio community lot. And it was kind of tricky getting her to level 3, as I said, because her needs dropped so low every time she had to get to the carpool, and I made her fly to the carpool in her bat form just to get her there quicker, but it was still like really, really risky. But at least for now she won't have to work in that career anymore now that she has unlocked this dance studio, so she can just run her own business instead. And that's pretty much it about Alyssa. She has remarried since her late husband passed away to another one of the playable sims who's named Edwin, and they actually had twins last time I played them, and I will insert a picture here of their current family. So the way that it is now is that or Alyssa's oldest daughter, I should say, she has just moved out, and as of now there is the second youngest daughter of Alyssa who still lives with them, who's now a teenager, and the twins that she just had with Edwin. They are not married yet though, they are just living together. Edwin is really focused on reaching the top level of the gamer career and unlocking the arcades and internet cafe community lots, so there will probably be videos in the future of me building those as well. But I am really looking forward to playing this community lot in the future. I just had the time to build it before their round was over, so I will probably get to play it the next time that I'm playing this family. And as I said in the beginning, I am quite happy with the way that this build turned out. I had some issues in the beginning deciding which way to go. Like I said, if I wanted to make it more modern and colorful, or if I should go for a bit more old, worn out look. But once I decided to stick with my regular building style, then it all went pretty smoothly from there with the exterior. And the thing that I actually found the most tricky with this build was to decorate the interior, because as I said, I wanted the lot to have kind of like a darker, more nightclub kind of feeling, but I still didn't want it to look exactly like a nightclub, so I had some trouble picking out, as you can see here, the walls and the floors that I wanted to use. But in the end, I think what I settled with was it was okay, and they didn't have that much money left anyway on the budget that I set for the slot, so it wasn't really that much I could do about it. I also, as you will see later, redid the way that I built the bathroom. As you can see now, there's this kind of big room to the right, which will be the dance area, and there is a room that is a bit smaller on the upper right that I plan to be like a locker room with a connecting bathroom. But then I was unsure if Sims of both genders would be able to use the locker room at the same time, so I saved up and I built 2 locker rooms instead with connecting showers and bathrooms, and used the gender specific doors. But that is one of the things that I actually still don't know about The Sims 2, even though I have been playing it for so many years. And I guess that's kind of what keeps it exciting to me as well, that there are always new things that you are doing and you realize that, oh, I haven't done this before, how does this actually work? So if you guys know if Sims can use locker rooms at the same time. If there are, you know, toilets and showers in there as well, then please let me know in a comment if it would be usable or not. I don't think that I will rebuild this slot either way, but it might be nice to know for future builds if I'm doing like a gym, which I am actually planning on building sometime in the future as soon as that gets unlocked by my Sims as well. So yeah, let me know if you have done something like that before and if it worked or not. But yeah, as for the rest of the build, like I said, you see here that I'm putting in all these dark colors, and I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. I might decorate it a bit more in the future. Like I said, I had a budget for this lot, so I couldn't go all crazy and put in, you know, expensive paintings and stuff like that. But I am happy with the way that it turned out. So I hope that there will be a lot of Sims who come to actually use this dance studio once I start playing it. And that is pretty much it for what I have to say about this build. I hope that you will enjoy the rest of the video, and if you like these types of videos, then I would be really happy if you liked and subscribed this video. It really helps me out a lot, and I hope to see you back here next time again. Until then, take care. Bye!